Okay, great. Shabbat Sholom. Welcome everyone. It's good to see you. We're going to begin our service on page 10 with Yedid Nefesh. Page 11.
Adonai Baruch Shemo, Vazru Meyom Leyom Yeshuato.
Sabru. Let us turn to page 14, bottom of the page.
Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim.
Let us continue on page 20. Romemu. Let us please rise. Mizmor David, page 21. If you would, may your mighty right hand undo the knot that ties us up. Accept the prayers of your people, you who are revered. Raise us up, cleanse us. Ana v'choach.
Continue on page 23 as we prepare to greet the Shabbos bride, Lecha Dodi.
הרצליה, מתוכה בקרב לשבת, מעמק הבכה, וביחד אבל יחמה, ואיך אדוני לקרנה, בני שבת לקרנה, עינרים ועפר קומי, אישי איתיה, תיברתכני, עליה בן ישי, במלאך מתוך הקדשי, נפשי גאלה, ואיך אדוני לקרנה, בני שבת לקרנה, התעוררי, כי בעורף, ומיורי, מורי, שתדברי גדול אדוני, עלייך נגלה, ואיך אדוני לקרנה, בני שבת לקרנה, לא תבושיע, ולא תקמי, אל תשתוקי, ולא תבני, ותחפשו, אני אעמידני איתה, ויראתי לה, ואיך אדוני לקרנה, בני שבת לקרנה, והרי נשיסה, שרוצאי ברחת פוקו, ובלעי יסיס עלייך, אלוהי כספות חתם, חתם הקלה, ואיך אדוני לקרנה, בני שבת לקרנה, ימין ושמאל, תפרוצי בית אדוני, תריצי על יריש, ונבצי ונשמחה, הגילה, ואיך אדוני לקרנה, בני שבת לקרנה, בואי בשלום, את תרגלה גם בשמחה, ובצורה טוב אמוניה, עם זה כולה, בואי חלה, ואיך אדוני לקרנה, בני שבת לקרנה, ואיך אדוני לקרנה, בני שבת לקרנה.
Please be seated. We continue together on page 27.
מזמור השיר, מזמור השיר, מזמור של השבת, מזמור השיר, מזמור השיר, מזמור של השבת.
God is sovereign of the universe, page 29, Adonai Malach. If you're able to do so, please stand. We turn together to page 35b as we heed the call to worship the Baruch Hu. Page 40, Ahavat Olam.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרת מאוד על ידך, והיו תותפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ואם שמעו
We continue together on page 44, Micha Mocha. Adonai is on page 45. Adonai, shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you are our God. Please watch over us and deliver us. And you are our God. You are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Please ensure our going and coming for life and peace now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, over Las Vegas, and over Jerusalem. Let us all please stand together as we turn to page 46 for Vishamru. The Amidah for Friday night begins on page 47. Please use the words of the Siddur or the private meditations of your own heart.
finish praying the Amidah, we may be seated. We continue on page 51 with Shalom Rav. May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to us and to all Israel and to all who dwell on earth. And let us say, Amen.
Say Shalom, V'imrovam, U'yaseh Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al kol Yisrael, Israel,
Shalom.
Yeah. Yigrav Yigrashem Rabba, Ramadi Baraki, the table from Ted Chayet, only make on the kind of Israel, Bagalav is Mankari, Veru, Amen, Yeshme Rabba Mevorach, Le'alam Le'al Le'amaya. Yitbarach Yishlavach Yipar, Mami Nase, Vitan Darbi Talevis Halal, Shemeri Kusham Rihu, the Enami Kobrikata, Shirata, Tushbekata, Nechamata, Dami Ramel Maviru, Amen. Titka Basel, Tuhuna Israel, for down Bahuna Shemaya Viru, Amen. Yehesh Lamarim Shemaya, Vechaim Lenovea, Kol Israel Viru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimro. Uyase Shalom Aleinu Ve'amo Israel Ve'imeru Amen.
Shkoyach, BJ. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
Very nice. Shabbat Shalom. This whole week I've been imagining, actually from Wednesday, I've been imagining what would happen with Korach and Moses and the children of Israel if they had to wear masks. They would be arguing with each other to no end. And of course, we know how the story goes. Korach loses the argument, the earth opens up and swallows him and all his followers. But I imagine them arguing about the masks because this is one of the silliest arguments I've watched in this country in many, 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 many years. If somebody says to you, help save somebody else's life, wear a mask, I think, it behooves us, first of all as Jews, to understand that concept of pikuach nefesh, that we have to save a life and the life takes precedence, no matter what. Look, we are allowed, if we're in a deserted island and we have no food, we're allowed to eat a snake, we're allowed to eat a piece of pork. We're allowed to violate all of the laws of kashrut if there is no food. We're allowed to desecrate the Shabbat to save our lives. So, wearing a mask is such a problem in order to save lives? And the argument is the First Amendment? Are we completely crazy? One of the things that makes Parshat Korach stand out in the Chumash, in the Torah, is really the intention of Korach. Why does Korach want to take the power from Moses? Moses comes already from all of this time in the wilderness, all of these rebellions. He's very tired. These people complain every Shabbat. At least that's what it seems to us. And now, a couple of weeks ago it was his sister and his brother. Now it's his cousin. And by the way, his only valid argument or quasi-valid argument seems to be basically, who put you in charge, Moses? Really, who put you in charge? Who gave you all this power? And if you look at the Talmud says unequivocally that many of the things that Korach says to Moses are completely made up. He makes up some of the most incredibly ridiculous arguments that have to do with a talit that has to have no tzitzit, when that's a mitzvah from the Torah. I mean, everything you can possibly imagine. The dumbest, silliest arguments Korach brings forth, actually to try to take the power of Moses away. It was really a power grab. There's a 19th century commentary that is very little known as the Agra de Kala, or also the Bnei Yisachar. She's actually very poignant on Parshat Korach, which talks about why this punishment of the earth opening up and swallowing up Korach and his followers. And by the way, the Midrash says that if you put your ear to the ground, once in a while, you can still hear Korach's followers complaining. And of course, we as Jews would know nothing about that. But once in a while, put your ear to the ground. You may be able to hear some complaints. Now, why that severe of a punishment? And the Agra de Kala says the only reason was that if you are engaged in a mitzvah that comes out of a machloket, it is not a mitzvah. Meaning, if you're trying to fulfill a commandment, but you're trying to do it only out of a sense of the argument that comes out of a dispute, then it's not a commandment. And Korach saw himself as trying to be a leader of the Jewish people just because he wanted to argue with Moses, just because he wanted to take power. By the way, let me tell you, one of the most incredible things about this Torah portion is how it ends. God tells Korach's followers to plant their staffs on the ground, and so does Aaron. And Aaron's staff flourishes with almond flowers, while the other staffs just remain dead. Which means that in the end, after all the arguments and after all the silly things, the people of Israel will triumph. But the idea of this rebellion and the idea of documenting this one of the many other rebellions that, according to our sages, happened in the wilderness, is for us to understand that democracy sometimes is not the ultimate goal of society. When we say we want to grab power because we have a right to it, that's not necessarily the way things have to go. Moses actually invited Korach to sit with him, to sort out their differences, to hear out his complaints. And Korach never showed up. And that's why, the rabbis say, he deserved such a horrible punishment too. Because when somebody says to you, I understand you don't agree with me, let's talk about it, let's see what we can do together, and you don't show up to that meeting, that means that you don't want to build up the world. You only want to build it actually down, to destroy it. And that's what Korach tried to do. And I was reminded about this with the mask argument this week, because I really honestly don't understand why people would refuse to wear the masks. And I've heard everything from, well, at the beginning they told us we shouldn't wear masks. Yeah, I understand. It was a mistake. We do not know enough about this virus. Many things are going to change and will change and have changed. But it's so important that we listen, that we do not become entrenched in our boxes, because we're putting other people's lives at stake here. And that's really 100% against what we believe. One of the things that Korach did is that in his silliness and in his stubbornness, he grabbed all of his followers and he brought them down into the pits of the earth with him. When we follow blindly the arguments of leaders who do not understand science, who do not understand reason, who do not understand logic, we're going to suffer just like Korach suffers and his followers suffer. Because ultimately, remember what the Torah does. God shows up to remind everyone who's in charge. And like my teachers would say, in the case of Judaism, after thousands of years of proving it so, common sense always wins. And that's a volume of the Shulchan Aruch that was never written. And common sense means we have to preserve human life at all costs. Yes, sometimes it's painful, but we have to do it. Because if we're not here in this world to enjoy it, who will? So, if we're ready to follow a leader and that leader's arguments to the ultimate consequence, if we're prepared to die ourselves and put somebody else's life at risk because we believe in that leader, we better be prepared to explain why those arguments make sense. Because when they don't, like Korach's argument, we're going to find ourselves really on the wrong side of history. Shabbat Shalom Mevorach. Let us please rise. We're going to continue with Shalom Aleichem, page 73. for Kiddush, page 55.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei ha'kafei.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho ve'ahava uvratzon hikinanu zikaron lema'aseh boreshit kilu yom tekilah lemigrahi kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidasha mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchatanu baruch atah
Baruch Shemo.
mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Let us please remain standing for Aleinu, page 56.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית שלא עשנו כארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה שלא שמת כלכם וגורלנו ככוח העולם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שתשמע מצוות. כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני
למלך על כל
הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Let us please be seated. We're going to continue with a special prayer for healing a fracture, the ruptured world, page 173. Top of the page on the left-hand side.
May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing and let us say
Following is a list of yard sites for this week at Temple at Sholom. In loving memory, we remember Kevin Bardenoff, Sarah Friedman, Eva Furman, Betty Gelman, Martha Joseph, Sam Kalin, Samuel Litkin, Agnes Mason, Linda Resnick, Estelle Schaefer, Stanley Schwartzbart, Sylvia Spilka, Priva Schrut, Joe Teich, Abraham Weinstein, And we're also serving Shloshim for Igal Kosainov and Gail Hecht. Mourners and those who serve in your side, please rise for the mourners Kaddish Yatom, page 58. Idgadal ve'idkadash shemei rabah, be'alma v'yibrach hilutei ve'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh v'chol bet Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari ve'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabah memorach l'olam l'olmei almaya, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומן ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקות לעילם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה ועמידם בעולמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלם הרב אמין שמיה בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. Please be seated. I'd like to call upon Jared Finkelstein, President of our congregation, for the announcements. The microphones now work throughout, so we're good.
Shabbat Sholom. Thank you for joining us this evening, both in person and via Zoom, Facebook, and all other social media platforms. Join us tomorrow, morning services. If you do plan on attending in person, please RSVP. I think it's a little too late to RSVP, but for next week, if you do plan on attending, please RSVP. We'd love to have you here. A few events that are coming up. We will be having Red, White, and Jewish on July 4th at 8:30 p.m. We'll begin with a Havdalah service, followed by a digital fireworks show at 9 p.m. And come and enjoy ice cream and music to celebrate our independence as Jews and Americans. Other events we have between Monday and Friday of next week is US-wide picture. Submit a picture of yourself US-wide in English. We also have a number of our classes continuing with Essential Talmud, with chair yoga, boot camp, history of Zionism, so all of the virtual classes will be continuing. Registration for religious school has opened, so classes start Sunday, August 9th. So check the TBS website as well as your email for access to the online registration. We also are continuing with virtual puppet playdates with Rabbi Hudson and Samuel Schulboy, so it's by appointment, so contact Rabbi Hudson to schedule that. It's for TBS members and those enrolled in the preschool. You should also expect in the next several days your membership renewals for the coming year. So check your emails. For those of you who don't have emails, check your snail mail. So there's still a few of those. This year, we are adding 2 additional membership categories. In a time where there's tremendous need in our community, we do not turn away anyone for financial purposes for membership. And we are creating 2 enhanced membership categories, a sustainers membership category $3,800 and a double dues membership at $5,000. Those enhanced memberships will help to cover costs of those members who cannot pay their full dues. So please, then check your email for those. We held our raffle drawing tonight. It's online and streamed. I'd like to congratulate the Salzman family for winning the bottle of bourbon. It seems like they win at every event we have.
Well, at least it was not Eli. He wouldn't have been able to drink it. But every Hanukkah he wins a game, like the Xbox, the PlayStation, and that was a bourbon. Okay. Good for them.
And then we had the same winner actually for the timeshare week and the cash prize, which was Terry Weisberg. So congratulations to the winners. Thank you for all of those who participated and purchased tickets. And finally, if you know the temple member who is in the hospital, ill at home, or in a nursing home, please contact the temple office to let us know. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Tomorrow morning also at 11:30 we have a children's service called the Playground Service. The Playground Service, is that correct?
Yeah, just real quickly, if you have a child, tomorrow at 11:30,
not in here, not in the chapel, but in the multi-purpose room. We're going to have about a 30-minute service for our little ones. I'm going to be there, some leaders, Sonia Alpisha's going to be there, but most importantly, everybody's favorite puppet, Sammy the Shulboy is going to be there. And I'm telling you, my ventriloquist skills are way better when I'm wearing one of these. So afterwards, the kids will play on the playground. The playground's covered, so it won't be as atrociously hot. So if you have a young child, we hope to see you there. And we wish to celebrate Shabbat with everyone possible. So hope to see you there tomorrow.
Also, the activity we have on the 4th of July, next Shabbat, at the end of Shabbat actually, with Abdallah, of course we're going to be wearing masks, and of course we're going to be social distancing. So please join us. We're going to have ice cream, which will be perfectly safe to eat.
I'm excited for the fireworks. This is something we've never done before.
Can you explain the fireworks thing?
So what we're going to do is we're actually going to project digital fireworks against the front of the building. And it's going to take up the entire front side of the building. I mean, we've never done this before, but I have a good feeling it's going to go really well. So please join us July 4th. No one else is doing, from what I understand, no hotels, no one else is doing fireworks. So this is a great experience to spend with your congregation, with your family, and here at town.
Please don't burn the building. That's the only thing I'm asking.
It's digital.
It was hard to build, DJ, so. Well, you will still manage to burn the building, I know you. And I heard we're going to have like the Star Spangled Banners will be played on the guitar, like a la Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, Michael Kropp, who plays for our acoustic Shabbat Friday night service, is actually going to play the national anthem on electric guitar, followed by, we're going to have probably listening of the 1812 overture.
Are we going to play I'm Proud to Be an American too?
Probably.
Okay,
We'll do Neil Diamond too. We'll do everything.
Just checking.
You never know what you're
Just checking. Anyway, thank you everybody for registering for coming to services. It's very important that we do so, and I'm very proud of the congregation for being able to do so and actually following through with it. And hope to see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We have a beautiful service tomorrow morning, and we conclude tonight with Adon Olam, page 211, followed by our special blessing. אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא להתנסה והפסוק עזר למלך שמו נברא ואחרי יפתח כל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא עובר והוא יהיה בצבאה Embrace somebody we don't know, but if you know the person next to you, you feel comfortable coming close to them. Let's come together at this time for a blessing. There will be a day when we'll come together again as a congregation, hopefully not too far in the future. Adonai, Adonai Oz Lemo Iten, Adonai Yevarech et Amo Shalom, Shabbat Shalom Mevorach.
Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu.